Well, this is our spoiler video for Criminal, and like I intimated in the review, I didn't like it. The movie had a lot of work to do to win me over, based on the premise. The premise of like
Ryan Reynolds getting his body shaped again.
Yeah.
Transferred again.
Yeah. Like, he already had Ben Kingsley's brain, like, less than a year ago. And now his brain's going into Kevin Costner. And they make Kevin Costner out to be this, like, psychopath that his brain didn't develop properly and he's insane. And Ryan Reynolds' memories, like, mellow him out and make him more of a human. And sure, there's some interesting stuff to see in that, but it's not that it's good, it's just the best part of this really badly written movie.
See, I found him more interesting for how Costner played the role. Like, at the very beginning, he's brutish, and even in how he carries himself walking, he's very brutish. And as the memories take hold, from scene to scene, how he carries himself is different. The cadence and how he talks is different. And then as you get towards the end of the movie and the memory starts slipping, you see him regressing back. And I thought that was well done.
But that's his performance. Yeah. And the direction it's all focused on that, and it's all focused on that part of what's going on, and that would be fine if he were 90% of the movie. But he's not. He's the lead, for sure, but you've got the villain guy, you've got the guy they're trying to find, you've got Gal Gadot and the little girl, and you've got Gary Oldman and the CIA. And all of those characters, all of those groups of characters are underwhelming.
To say the least.
Like, there's a couple of good scenes with Gal Gadot and the daughter that work, again, because of the performances, not because of the writing. Like, Gary Oldman does the very best that he can to play the very stupid character that they write for him.
His character is terrible. Like, he has almost zero purpose. You actively want him to lose. That's how terrible his character is. The thing that really bothered me outside of Gary Oldman's character was the villain. He's not on screen very often, and when he does, he's literally in two scenes he's doing the same exact thing. He's typing into a computer and then he says, well, hello, whatever the name. That's the first two times you see him.
Right.
And when he's on screen, he's not captivating at all.
Well, there's also his partner, who is an empty shell.
Yeah. It was very strange. There was no... Everything was focused on Costner. Or at least it should have been, and it wasn't.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that they needed to do more than just write characters that move the plot in a direction, or move an action scene in a direction. Like, this guy is the bad guy, and this is his partner. And we have the partner so that we can have a couple of fight scenes with her. And so we can have him, like, fight the badass chick spy girl. And she, like, looks cool. That's her role in the movie. She looks cool and she fights. And then you've got the bad guy, and he, like, looks pretentious and plays on a computer and wants anarchy, and has one of the worst, like, fakest interviews with Piers Morgan. Like, they put that together, and I'm sure that they shot Piers Morgan specifically for this movie to do that, But those two actors were not in the same place having the same conversation because what they were saying to each other didn't line up at all. Like, it wasn't, none of it felt natural, none of it felt right.
Yeah, you never see an interview like that on TV. And
You never see Piers Morgan just, like, sit back and wait for someone to answer a question.
Yeah. It was it was strange, but it still managed to keep my attention, and at the end of it I felt entertained. And I guess that's the best I could have hoped for out of it.
I don't know. I would definitely ask more than that.
Well,
I've seen a lot better movies than that.
I didn't
with
have
a lot of the same people.
I didn't have high hope for it coming in. So the fact that I'm not absolutely hating myself, I feel like this is a victory. But yeah, there's a lot of things that it could have done better. I didn't feel the connection to Jason Bourne as much as you did, because I didn't feel that he was ever, if push came to shove, he wouldn't all of a sudden have kung fu skills. He still fought very brutish.
But what happened in the restaurant? He started speaking French.
Oh, yeah. Which makes sense with the memories.
Okay, but that's where I'm going with the Jason Bourne thing. It's like he doesn't know that he knows all of this stuff, and so it's coming back. I'm not saying they copied Jason Bourne. I'm saying that he has these qualities that are similar to what Jason Bourne does.
I actually like that scene for the fact that he was speaking French, but he couldn't understand what he was saying. I thought that was great.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's again like, if you analyze that, it doesn't make any sense. Because he had Ryan Reynolds' memories and his language abilities. And so he would know what Ryan Reynolds was talking about if he said that. Hang on. He'd know what Ryan Reynolds was talking about when he said that. The only reason that he didn't know what those words were was to make it a funnier scene on screen.
Fair. But you could also say this was right after the surgery. The memories were still taking hold, because he was still having trouble. It wasn't until he got the pills to control the pain that he actually started developing legitimate skills.
Yeah, I don't give the writing that much credit. I don't.
Okay.
Like, I can see that they made these individual scenes. The little girl's there to give him some heart. Like, and then every once in a while, like, it's like how, if you're watching a Michael Bay movie, like every 10 minutes there has to be an action scene. In this movie, like, every 10 minutes he needed to just, like, hit someone on the head and call them a motherfucker.
I feel that there were side stories cut out of this movie, specifically because of the character played by Alice Eve. Like, she's one of the top billed stars. She's on the poster, everything. Her character has like 3 lines the entire movie, and one of them is, "Oh God, I've been shot." But she has a conversation with, a conversation that's like one line between her and Gary Oldman at the very beginning, towards the beginning, right as they're doing the surgery. And she says something to him kind of snarky, to the point that, like, she knows something and she's pissed off and she can't do anything about it, and then
it goes nowhere.
You never see her again. She dies. Like she dies on a bridge later.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot was cut out.
To me, yeah, I mean, that sort of stuff is like the kind of thing that would happen in bad episodes of 24, where they would bring in this character, they would give you like a hint of development about that character, and then they would use them to, like, give you a cliffhanger for the next episode by having them get shot. Or having them suddenly be the bad guy. Or maybe they're the bad guy. And it's just hack writing. It's just really, really bad writing. And like, I kept thinking about 3 Days to Kill, which was also not a movie I expected to be very good, but was I thought it was a really solid action movie. It's not great, but it's a solid action movie, and it's Kevin Costner playing a very similar character. He's funnier in that movie. He's not doing the I've got two brains thing, which, yeah, I mean, it was the premise of this movie, and I accept that and I understand that. It doesn't mean that they did. It's not that they justified that being their premise. They didn't do anything new with it. They didn't do anything interesting with it. They just pulled, that's why I'm saying, like, it's got a little hint of Jason Bourne. It's got a little hint of this and that, and then he hits someone on the head and says motherfucker, and
which is awesome.
And like 4 times in a row, some guy in a shop says, "What's with this guy?" Isn't that what he says? Something like that.
There were a couple of guys that said, "What's with this dude?" and things like that. The guy outside that they go to steal, or he steals their van, and then the 2 guys in the falafel shop.
Yeah. They also shot the whole movie in London, and a lot of it's outdoors, and it looks terrible because there's no light in London, and so it was like watching a movie through a filter, or watching like a Chris Nolan Batman movie with like a potatoes over your eyes or something. It's just very dark and
I enjoyed it.
okay, fair enough. If you like the way we do these, please like the video, subscribe, check out all the written video reviews at DaleMaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.